So we were talking last week. We started talking about tshuva, how to get on the right track. Really, with all inyanim, but specifically with regards to Shmir Sinayim. So we said in the past that many times a person gets very down about it. He gets very upset, like I can't do this. It's just impossible, and he feels like giving up. Lamai says that's actually a very good sign. Why? Because it shows that he cares. A lot of people out there just don't care. You can see money of such people. Yeah, when you talk to them about it, they'll either change the topic, or they'll just tell you, "Well, there's nothing wrong with it."
Say
right?
it's not
Yeah,
me.
yeah, and it's not for me, whatever. Oh, I'm 18 years old or 16 years old, but I'm getting married next week, so it's okay for me to look, just in case there's a kala. Yeah,
That's a poor couple.
The mice, if a person thinks about this and even feels bad about it, so that's already a good sign. But the mice, we need to keep a positive attitude if you're going to fight the Yetzer Hara in this area. And Ma'od Kedai, a person has to keep a very positive attitude, because the Yetzer Hara will just tell you again and again and again that, you know what, there's no point. You know what, you just keep doing it again and again and again. It's just not worth it. You might as well just give up. So that's why we have to keep a very positive attitude. Every little bit that we do really makes a big difference. It makes a big difference to our Kodesh Baruch Hu, and it even makes a big difference to ourselves. We have to learn to get past the past, get past the over, and to look for the future. All the things that a person's done in the past, for the most part, we can remember them. It's Kedai, write them down, to have them for Yom Kippur, to do tshuva on them with the vidui and the whole thing on Yom Kippur. But L'maiseh for today is not Kedai. It's not Kedai to think about it. It's Kedai just to move on. In general, with Averis, this is the Mahalech, because the Yetzer Hara uses this as a stepping stone to get a person to do more Averis. Aveira, Goyreres, Aveira. Aveira, Goyreres, Aveira. A lot of things, a lot of shorty minutes. But Aveira, Goyreres, Aveira is when the Yetzer Hara says, "Oh, you did an Aveira already? You're not such a big tzaddik. What's the big deal? You do another one. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do this anyway. So do it. So what's the big deal? Just keep going. Well, there's nothing. It's nothing. It's nothing that you can accomplish anyway. You can't win anyway." That was all the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara says, "Yeah, you already started. Just keep going." Person has to know that they're bigger than that. They're better than that. Very interesting. I was talking with somebody recently about a person who does Averis, and he's continuing to do Averis Binyani Kedusha, and Shmir Sinayim, or worse things. And how do you know if you're addicted to it, or you're just you have a taiva, or have you gotten past the taiva stage? Yeah, every person has a taiva. Every person has a taiva. Yeah, and you have a taiva, so I do the aveira, I have a taiva, do that. Or have you gotten past that? Have you? So one of the gedarim said was, is it painful? Do you feel pain from it? Like, I'm doing it even though it's painful. I'm doing it anyway, even though it hurts me. So that is a madrega that the person knows that they hit it. What? Yeah, something like that. The drug addiction or whatever. They know that they're hurting themselves more than they're helping themselves by doing it, and then they can't stop. A person is addicted to something is when they can't stop, even though they know they're hurting themselves, they're hurting their families, they're hurting, and they do it anyway. L'maiseh, that is the tool of the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara wants you to keep doing it, and he wants you to feel bad about it. He doesn't want to give you even the pleasure that you get from it. He wants you to feel bad about it, and he has you anyway. He's going to get you to keep doing it. So a big yesod before we get that far, a big yesod is stay positive as much as we can. You feel bad about it, that's a good sign. We're working on it. It means you're sensitive, you're a spiritually sensitive person, and you know that it's wrong, and you can feel it. Yeah. And you know that you want to be better. L'maiseh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to work. more than anything else, he wants us to work. I was just reading a little. I wasn't really reading a whole article. I have a hard time with that. I don't have the patience to sit and read a whole article. But reading a little bit, part of our article, and this article was about how a person, what are the measures of success in the secular world? What does that mean? It means if you could take a person and you could predict whether or not they're going to be successful in the world or not, what is the most important factor that they take into account whether a person will be successful or not? Is it his IQ, his intellect? Is it his ability to be social? Is it his ability to, innovation? What is it? What is the ability to? What does the person have? What is the most important aspect to a person for his success? So somebody did studies on this. Obviously, it's called B'dei Shemayim. We're not here to make some HaKadosh Baruch Hu who's already geyser whether a person is going to be rich or poor. But there's a midah that they came up with. The midah that it's called in English grit. Grit. That's the word that they use. Grit. What does the word grit mean? So, what the word grit means is amelus. That's what it means. The number one requirement to being successful in life is how much effort you're going to be willing to put in, how much you're going to try, how hard are you going to work. That is the most important aspect to success in life. You're going to give of yourself. You're going to push. You're going to push. You're going to push. We know that not only is that like a key part of success, that is all success. Yeah, anu amelim v'hem amelim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants the amelis. So success is not up to us, like we discussed in the morning in the Chovas Levavos Vad, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in charge of whether or not we're successful or not. What Hashem wants from us is to work hard. What Hashem wants us is to work. So the more a person sees that and he understands that, even if he hasn't gotten there yet, even if he's still struggling with his Yetzer Hara, he's already a success. He's already a success, just like we find by Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was mated the neder of Kalba Savua. Kalba Savua made a neder not to give his daughter any Yerusha, any money at all once she married that Am Haaretz Akiva. Mm-hmm. Yeah? And Kalba Savua came, he didn't realize that it was his son-in-law. Rabbi Akiva, he came to the Chacham. He wanted to be matir neder. So he didn't even recognize that this was his son-in-law. And he said, what was the neder you made? I made a neder not to give my daughter anything, any money or anything, because she married an Am Haaretz. And I was so broken, so disappointed that she married somebody who knew no Torah at all whatsoever. So I made this neder that I wasn't going to give her anything. And I feel terrible about it. And he said, well, if you had known that your son-in-law would become a big Talmid Chacham, so would you be matir the neder? Would you have ever made the neder? He said, no, absolutely not. If he would have even known like one halacha, I wouldn't have made the neder. He knew nothing. He was mamish complete. So he matir the neder. The Tosfos asks there, what's pshat with a din called noilad? The din of noilad by nedarim is that if the neder is based on something and then that thing changes, yeah, that thing changes, and you say, oh, if I would have known that it would have changed, then it would have been matir the neder. That's not a reason to be matir. You can't be matir neder like that. There's machlokes about it. It's true in the Tanoim, but we posting you're not allowed to be matir neder like that. So how could Rabbi Akiva have been matir this neder? So the Tosfos gives a fantastic teretz. He says, probably many of you know it already. Tosfos teretz is that Lamaisa Rabbi Akiva was already a Talmid Chacham even before he became a Talmid Chacham. The fact that he even wanted to go to yeshiva in the first place already gave him a din Chacham. So it wasn't called noilad, because he already was. The fact that the fact that you're working already makes it you're there already. Halacha Lamaisa le'inyan noilad for dinei nedarim. So the more even a person is not there yet, they're still struggling with the Yetzer Hara, but they really, really want it, Hashem already looks at it as a success.
But Kabbas of what? Nua Akiva wanted to go learn, no?
Nope, not necessarily. It says that the Gemara in Psachim says about Rabbi Akiva that when he was Am Haaretz, he hated Talmid Chacham. The Gemara says he wanted to bite them like chamor. The Gemara says.
Beat the bone.
Rabbi Akiva hated. At a certain point in his life, when he was still a
Before his
Amoritz,
40s,
before he went to yeshiva, before that time, it was even before he got married, he hated Talmid Chacham. So you see that there was a certain change that was made. Lamaisa, that was the point. The point that I'm trying to get to is, even if we're not necessarily successful, as long as we keep working, we're already in Hashem's eyes, and we should be in our own eyes, already way, way above, even if it seems not that way, but we really are. I want to talk about a little bit about Nisyonos now. Yeah, a lot of times these Nisyonos, sometimes they seem like they're much bigger than we can handle, and different reasons for that. Sometimes a person taka is in a very difficult nisyon where it does seem like it's way too much for him to handle, and that's when a person, like in an addiction, where a person cannot get out of it on their own. They do need help. It's not possible to get out on their own. Lamaise, nisyonos are, everybody has nisyonos in life. Everybody does. In fact, all of life is made up of nisyonos. Mm-hmm. The Ramban writes about why Avram Avinu was considered to be the most beloved of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What made him, Avram Avi, the pasuk says what did he do? What did he do so great that made him like the most beloved of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Is it because he kept Kol HaTorah Kula? The Ramban says no. It's not because he kept Kol HaTorah Kula. Because why? Because there are a lot of people who kept Kol HaTorah Kula, and they were Mitzvah V'Oiseh. The Eina Doime Eina Mitzvah V'Oiseh. The Mitzvah V'Oiseh, a person Mitzvah V'Oiseh has a Yetzirah against doing all these things is much on a much higher madrega than somebody who's not Ein Mitzvah. So it can't be that just because he kept Kol HaTorah Kula. So he says it's because of the Nisyonos that he went through. He was able to prove again and again and again that he was willing to do anything for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amazing medrash. There's an amazing medrash. The medrash says that after Akedas Yitzchak, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was talking with Avram Avinu about why Dafka this Nisayon, and he wanted to bring a carbon anyway, and he brought the aisle, and every time he did something to the aisle, he said with Kavanah that it should be like it's my son. And at the end, he said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I want to ask you something. He said, please don't give me any more Nisyonos. Don't give me any more, because I'm scared. What if I didn't pass? So don't give me any more Nisyonos, please. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, he gives him his word, he takes a shvuah, he's not going to give Avram Avinu any more Nisyonos. There's a shaila on some Rishonim who say there still was another Nisayon afterwards, the Nisayon of Sari Meinu dying and him not being able to find. But this is what the Midrash says, that he says he's not going to be able to give him more Nisyonos. But the Midrash goes on to say a fantastic, amazing thing. It says that if he wouldn't have, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't have taken the shvuah.
Sarah died before.
No, only after Akedah.
When did he do the bris for HaKadosh Baruch Hu?
Right after Akedah.
Maybe she died at the same time.
Yeah, but he didn't know.
She was dead.
Right, that wasn't the son. His son was the burial. Her burial. Yeah. According to, I think it's Rabbeinu Yoina. Look in Pirkei Avos, so they talk about it. One of the Manda Omrim over there says the Major says a crazy, amazing thing. Says if HaKadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't have taken the shvuah, he would have given him more Nisyonos. Which Nisyonos would he have given him? He would have given him Yisurei Iyov.
Why?
He would have given him the Yisurei Iyov. That's what the Medrash says. If not that he had taken the shvuah, that he wasn't going to give him any more Nisyonos, he would have given him Yisurei Iyov. That's what the Medrash says. The Medrash doesn't say why. Yeah, but if you look carefully in the Gemara in Baba Basra, when it talks about Iyov, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu give Iyov these Nisyonos? It's really in Sefer Iyov too, but it's spoken out more in the Gemara in the Gemara in Baba Basra. It says that the Satan came to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, oh, you see, you have a great tzaddik. Who's the greatest tzaddik like Avram Avinu? Who is the biggest tzaddik like Avram Avinu? There's nobody like him. And Hashem said, well, I have Iyov also. Iyov is also a great tzaddik. And Satan said, what do you mean? He's not such a great tzaddik. I bet you he's so rich and he has so many things. He has this and he has that. And that's why he's serving you. But if he wouldn't, you would take away all his things, all his money, all his children, and he wouldn't serve you. So Hashem said, yeah, you could try it. See. Right? So that's what happened. And v'chule, it happened more worse things. He got Yisurei Guf on his Guf also. And then there's the whole Sefer Iyov talking about Hashkacha Pratis and whether or not HaKadosh Baruch Hu really runs the world or not. Different things, the different topics that are discussed in Sefer Iyov. Well, from the beginning of the Gemara over there, you saw already that Iyov was being compared to Avram Avinu. And I think the Maharsha says, I don't remember where I saw this shot, but I think the Maharsha says that the reason why the Satan did this was actually a tova for Klal Yisrael. That there shouldn't be any doubt that Avram Avinu is the greatest person, not anybody else, not Iyov. And he wanted to prove it that Avram Avinu is above and beyond all the other, even the great Tzadikei Umas Ha'olam, but Avram Avinu is better, and that's why the Satan did this. Why the Satan wanted to do this? I don't know all the intricacies, but you see over here that theoretically there could have been this Nisyonos by Avram Avinu, and why? So I thought of a svar like this. The svar was that there were still Nisyonos that Avram Avinu hadn't passed yet. There were still Nisyonos that needed Avram Avinu to put him above and beyond everybody else. And that was the Yisurei Iyov. The Yisurei Iyov was meant to also be given to Avram Avinu to put him in another aspect way above everybody else. And the mashmos is he would have passed those tests of Yisurei Iyov. He would have. But now that he didn't get those tests, Hashem needed to do it in a different way. He needed to show that Avram Avinu was bigger in a different way. So he gave the test to Iyov, so Iyov would fail at them in order to show that Avram Avinu was higher. And that's why it had to be done in this way. L'maisa, the point that I'm trying to bring out here is that there's a reason why we have Nisyonos in the world. We don't always understand why do I have to deal with this thing, why do I have this difficulty, why I have that. But HaKadosh Baruch has a cheshbon for everything that happens to a person. Bechira too. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants there to be certain types of Yisurin that every person should have their Nisyon. They should have their difficulties. They should have their places where they can grow. Yeah? That is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants for each individual person. And every person is different. Every person has their own nisyonos. Every person has their own difficulties. And it's our own individual way that we're going to grow. It happens to be that a lot of us think we're individuals, and the truth is we are. Yeah, to a certain degree, we can take a certain chizuk that many of us have similar nisyonos to the other ones. Yeah, when it comes to inyanim of shmiras einayim and kedushas habris and these things, a person can take a little bit of nechama to know that he's not alone in this nisayon, even though really he is. He's both. He is and he's not. He's not alone because a lot of people have this nisayon. A lot of people, you shouldn't be like, well, I'm the big Russia in the whole world and I can't do it and everybody else is a big tzaddik. Not true. Lots of people. Like I said many times before, if you're normal, you have this nisayon. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's one side. But on the other hand, we are alone in it. Because when I'm facing the Yetzer Hara, it is only me. Yeah, I don't have all my friends helping me when I'm facing my own personal Yetzer Hara. So a person needs to know when I'm facing my own personal Yetzer Hara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there to help me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there to help me. And I can't succeed if HaKadosh Baruch Hu is giving me this nisayon. He knows that I can do it. He knows that I can do it. And therefore a person can even come to accept Nisyonos be'avo. It's a high madrega, very, very high madrega. But a person realizes that, hey, I can really, really grow. I can really get to a high place. I can get to a very high place. And it's dafka through the nisayon that I can get to my high place. Like we mentioned in the past, it could be dafka the nisayon that is my whole toelis in this world. It's the whole reason why I'm here on this world is to beat this nisayon. This is my ticket to Gan Eden. This is my ticket to my olam haba, this specific nisayon. Could be. We don't know. Kodesh Baruch Hu wants to make us work. Yeah, when a person is working out, yeah, he wants to build up his muscle, so it has to do it hard. If he's lifting weights that are easy for him, so he's not doing anything. It's meaningless. He's got to lift heavy weights. Now you have to do it a little bit at a time. It's not, you have to know you need a good personal trainer to teach you, to get you.
The more you find it becomes harder.
If that's true, but that's when you're building up your muscles bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why you have to lift heavier weights. You have to lift things that are heavier. You lift things that are lighter, you're not going anywhere. You're not getting anywhere.
Just getting tired.
Yeah. That's why they say when you know when it's hard when you're biking, it's hard when you're riding uphill.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you're going up, you know that it's hard. Yeah. When you're going downhill, so you could just let go and go, wee, yeah, and it's fun going downhill, yeah. But in the end, you're at the bottom, and then where you're gonna go? Yeah.
You take the bike up.
Then you gotta go back up, right?
Take a bus.
You take a bus. Yeah. It doesn't work like that exactly. A lot of times we're in places where we don't want. It's difficult. I remember a few years ago when my wife was in the hospital having surgery, I had to do things that were very, very difficult for me at the time. Things that I went totally against my nature that I had to do. And I never would have done those things unless I was put in a matzav where I had to. I was forced into it. And you end up growing in ways that you don't know you could. Because the Kodesh Baruch Hu puts you into this matzav. I'm here. I've got to work hard. And if I don't, then who's going to be the one who's going to get hurt by it? So I don't have a choice. I need to do this. So how much more so for ourselves, for our own personal growth, for the growth of our family. A person can only really be a true role model to his kids and expect that his own children are going to be able to overcome their nisyonos if he's going to be able to become do his in that seret that they played on Thursday night, yeah. Oh, some of it was funny and some of it was really sad, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. So one of the really sad points, and I was thinking about this a little bit, was when that guy went and he slapped his kid and he took him by the ear and said, "You be a tzaddik, you be a chazanish, be a tzaddik, you be a chazanish." Yeah. And I was thinking to myself when I saw that, I was like, I wonder if anybody did this to him. Yeah.
Probably.
I'm wondering if that's, and how come he's not the chazanish? How come he's not, yeah? Now, obviously, the whole thing is just a video, so it doesn't count. But the mice,
but there is truth.
The mice, yeah, I understand. That's why kilo zakoev. If it's just a seret, it's okay. So science fiction in the zoo. That's what it is. But because it's real, is that the way to get the growth? No. But we do have nisyonos in life. We do have nisyonos, and we can overcome those nisyonos. The ma'isa for us, there are a lot of things that we can do. I try to give an eitzah every week. We try to give an eitzah. So I think we're gonna finish up with that today. A little bit earlier today, but the few eitzahs that we have to work on, so we can try to overcome a little bit, maybe this week to work on, or till the next year, which might be a week and a half. One of the eights I saw brought down by Rav Whitler was a mashgiach in Gateshead. So he said saying Kriya Shema with kavana. Saying Kriya Shema kavana is a eitzah to help. And the reason is first of all, it brings Yireh Shamayim. Saying Kriya Shema with kavana brings Yireh Shamayim. And the more Yireh Shamayim a person has, the easier he can fight against the Yetzer Hara. The Yireh Shamayim is the main weapons that we have against the Yetzer Hara. When you think about the words, when you think about what you're saying in Kriya Shema, so you realize that a Kodesh Baruch Hu is testing a person. Yeah, a person. You read the word. You say Lo Sasura. That means the Kodesh Baruch Hu is telling you that you have a Yetzer Hara for this, and I understand you have a Yetzer Hara. Yeah. We know where a person has a Yetzer Hara, but the point is to see that the Torah also knows. And then a person also knows that if a person has, im shamor tishmor mitzvah, but then afterwards, if he eats and he v'acholta v'zavata, he shamru lachem pen yiftel levavchem, the Torah knows. A person has a lot, and in the end he's going to rebel against the Kodesh Baruch Hu. The more person, so this is just one eitzah that he gives, that if a person says Kriya Shema with Kavana, he can understand. The Torah understands you. Understands it. The Torah, We're created. Yeah, we were created through the Torah. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that. When we look in the Torah, and we specifically Kriya Shema, which is Yesodis of Emunah and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Kabbalah's all Mokh Shamayim, Kabbalah's all mitzvahs, and remembering Yetzias Mitzrayim, and these are things that are Yesodis of Yiddishkeit. A person builds in himself the koichos to overcome. That's one eitzah. Another eitzah, and we'll finish with this eitzah, is that a person who was we discussed last week about maybe making a time, a few minutes, once a day, every day, the 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. Take those 5 minutes. I'm working on these 5 minutes, whatever those 5 minutes are. The 5 minutes I'm walking to and from yeshiva, the 5 minutes where I'm gonna be going to the merkaz, whatever it is. Yeah, if a person does that and he sees a little bit of success, appreciate that. Appreciate your success.
Fighter.
Yeah, reward yourself even. Reward yourself for that success, and maybe keep a log of it. Keep a cheshbon of my success. A person who recognizes that I am succeeding will help him succeed more. You see, I'm doing better, whichever area I've chosen to work on. I'm doing a little bit better, even just a simple thing. Reward yourself for it. I deserve this, I deserve that. It doesn't have to be something big. But specifically, little things lead to big things.
Thank you for listening. To hear more shurim like this one, go to jfoundations.com. If you'd like to support us or sponsor an episode, go to jfoundations.com/support.